Hi, I'm Barbara, and today's Treehouse Talk is Romantic Toolbox Part 1. We're going to talk about passion and fire. So we're inside the Whispering Wood Treehouse today, sitting by the cozy fire.
Hi, I'm Harold. And as we thought about tonight's topic, we thought, you don't really need us telling you about sex and what sex looks like and what all the different tricks and things you can do. Maybe what we really need to talk about tonight is making love.
Making love is very different than having sex. Having sex is that drive based on physical attraction that makes you want to rip off somebody's clothes and just can't keep your hands off them. And that's a kind of feeling that sparks a great chemical explosion, but that spark doesn't last. And what makes the spark not last? Maybe just somebody cutting their hair and not being as sexy anymore, or maybe someone gaining 10 pounds, or someone hotter walks down the hall. And so having sex and the chemical explosion is a fire that dies out, and to keep doing that, you just have to trade partners over and over. But making love is based on love, and you make love, and you add to your love as you make love. Making love is the closest people can come together emotionally, physically, sexually. It's the greatest intimacy that there is, because the connection based on love that has the thrill of passion in it is the connection that's beyond skin deep. It goes to the core of your being. It's a celebration of the depth of your relationship, and that's what adds to the thrill of the passion.
Can't beat that. We want to celebrate ourselves and celebrate each other, and we celebrate in making love. But the way the fires come and go is because we don't take care of them. A fire just like this fire over here, you have to have fuel, you have to have spark, you have to have oxygen, has to have all this stuff to make it work. Well, so how do we keep this fire alive that is our passion, that is our love? How do we keep this going? Well, just like the fire, you add pieces of wood and tinder and twigs and paper to keep it going. You keep it rolling, keep the fire going. Those are the tender things in our lives, the things that we add to each other by how we talk to each other, how we treat each other. You can't expect to be gone all day long, never speak to each other, and come home and just tap your spouse on the shoulder and expect to get to be able to make love. There has to be something that brings you together, something that has kept you together all day long. And that means you don't let go of each other through the day, even though you're going your separate ways. You find ways to keep up with each other, to take care of each other, to keep that fire going by adding little things to the day, adding little things to each other, talking about what's important in your lives. Be there for each other. Be always there for each other. You've got to lift each other up. And in lifting each other up, then you can draw close into the heat of that flame. And sometimes you are separated and you bank the coals and wait for the next available time to get together, but you still try to keep things going in between. And then those banked coals are ready, and when you breathe across them, they burst into flame. And that fire of love and passion explodes again, over and over and over.
You know, it's really sad to me to hear about couples breaking up who say, I just lost the spark. That's normal. Sparks are lost, but they're made to be reignited. So if you don't have that feeling of spark in your relationship anymore, it's not time to give up. It's not time to end it. It's not, because that's going to happen with every single person. Because as Harold was saying, you have to reignite the spark. You have to build the flame. You have to keep moving forward. And I want to say a word to women. It's not your job to be somebody's sex tool. So that means that never fake an orgasm. Physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, and making love, if you're really going to make love, then that's a two-way proposition. I mean, it's got to involve both partners.
It has to be honest.
It has to be honest, yes, and if you're faking, it's certainly not honest. And you have to be honest enough to say what would give you the physical pleasure you need.
You get separated, you come back together. The spark dies, you build it back. You keep the flame going as much as you can, but sometimes you just aren't always on the same page. And so you don't give up on it. You never give up on your relationship. You find a way to get back together. You find a way to come back together again. Never give up. The passion and love that you feel is always there. It may hide under a bushel, but you let it out. Find a way to let it out. Find a way to get back into it. And sometimes that's going to take things like saying I'm sorry, or saying I screwed up, or a present or a gift to help lift the day, and say, you know, I brought you home this flower because I just wanted to let you know I'm sorry about what happened last night. Whatever it is that you need to do to try to move yourselves back together again. Take up that space that got lost and bring yourself together and find a nice, warm, snuggly hug, and find out the love that lasts and lasts because you keep it alive. It's your love. Don't let it die. Keep it alive.
So we hope you'll join us next time for part 2 of the Romantic Toolbox. Fun ways to say I love you.